Here are some Passover songs.
Schönen Dank, Dinala und Cecil. Good Yontif, seid begrüßt zu unser Seder.
Welcome to our Seder. We're so happy to be celebrating with you all today. We're celebrating not only Passover, but also the 125th anniversary of the Worker Circle. My name is Dylan Saders-Hoffman, and I'm here with Deborah Strauss and cantor Jeff Warshauer.
Today, with friends from around the world, we're celebrating the long-standing tradition of the Workers' Circle Third Seder. We proudly stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. So we're sharing excerpts from a treasure trove of videos from Seders past. And we're looking to our future, von Dor zu Dor, from generation to generation, with new versions of beloved Seder songs and words of inspiration from beloved leaders. This is a special moment for us to come together in joy and strength. This is a special moment to celebrate both our diversity and all we share.
How good it will be when all people dwell together as brothers, as sisters, as one family in the paths of peace. Wie wohl und wie gut es war Menschen zu leben beschollen. Wie wohl und wie gut es war Menschen zu Schönem Dank. And now, a wonderful video of a Workers' Circle traditional opening song. First, from a 1986 Third Seder featuring dancers and the beautiful singing of the chorus. And then a brand new video featuring some of our 2025 Shula kids and parents with their teacher and the director of the Workers' Circle schools, Madeline Solomon.
It's now my honor to introduce Ann Toback, CEO of the Workers' Circle Alberte Ring.
Shulam Aleichem. Welcome to today's Pesach celebration. It's so wonderful to be sharing this program with so many of you the world over. As we prepare to take a Third Seder journey together, celebrating our past and looking forward to our community's future, I want to share a favorite Third Seder experience, one that will always hold special meaning to me. In 2008, as I was interviewing for the job of executive director at the Workers' Circle, I purchased a ticket to the Workers' Circle Third Seder. It was held in the reception hall of an Upper West Side synagogue on the Sunday before Passover. That Seder is one I will never forget. While it wasn't from the era of our storied Waldorf Astoria Seders that we're going to look back on today, it continued our community's traditions of song, pageantry, and communal celebration. The Workers' Circle Choir, under the incredible direction of Zalman Mlatek, filled the room with joyful and soulful music. Adrienne Cooper, whose passion and genius for Yiddish culture shapes so much of our work today, sang with her beautiful voice and guided us through readings. And then teenage Avram and Alicia Mlatek delivered musical performances that brought the Third Seder traditions to life. Then came a moment that quieted even the people who'd been chatting nonstop, and there were many, through most of the program. A woman approached the stage with her family around her, commanding everyone's attention. It was the great Yiddish theater actress Minna Byrne, come to recite in Warsaw Ghetto in Yiddish. I'd never experienced Yiddish recitation before, and like everyone, I was captivated. Of course, that Third Seder had also other memorable moments. Our formidable Abigail Mandel, now of blessed memory, then 92 years old, had overseen every detail of the dinner with military precision and instituted a strict, though unspoken, limit of 2 glasses of wine for everyone. When I later asked why only 2 versus the traditional 4 cups of wine, she answered, "So no one gets crazy and drunk." Her matter-of-fact answer left me wondering, and I confess I still wonder, what wild Third Seder celebrations did I miss in years past? Since I joined the Workers' Circle as CEO, we've held Third Seders in all sorts of places, City Winery, the Museum of Jewish Heritage, the SIU EU Union Hall, and now virtually. Here on Zoom, we can pour our own wine without anyone counting the glasses, and we're welcoming people from across the United States and even the world. Our global gathering today is so very special as we celebrate 125 years of the Arbitering, keeping Yiddishkeit alive. We're experiencing a Yiddish renaissance. Our year-round language classes are filled to capacity. Our cultural programs draw enthusiastic and multi-generational crowds, and Yiddish remains the neshama, the soul of everything we do. Our Yiddish experience isn't just about preserving the past, it's inspiring our activism, shaping our identity, and fueling our mission today. I'm thrilled to be here with you now, 17 years after attending that memorable Third Seder, to make new memories together, to raise a glass or two, but not three, to Abigail's memory. And let's all celebrate our community's contributions to Jewish life and continue, as we always have, to build a schönere and bessere Welt für alle, a better and more beautiful world for all. And I wish all of you a Ziesen Pesach.
Thank you so much, Anna. Shenim Hartzigen Dank. That was beautifully put. And I also want everyone to know that we're watching as you put your names in the chat and you remember when you were possibly in the chorus or part of the Third Seder. And it's just wonderful to see everyone from all over the world. And we are going to be saving the chat so we can revisit it over and over again to enjoy this moment. And speaking of enjoying this moment, it's such an honor for me to introduce a graduate of the West Side Shula, the klezmer star, and also an incredible mensch, Jake Schulman-Ment.
Shenem Dank, Deborah und Allemen. Hartziger Grüßen und Azisten Pesach Allemen. Yes, I'm a graduate of the West Side Yiddish Shula. When there was such a thing. Well, yeah, I feel very, very blessed to have grown up around so many Yiddishisten, klezmer musicians, Yiddish singers, Holocaust survivors, Yiddish songwriters. What an amazingly rich upbringing the Arbitering kind of offered me as a really young child, and obviously it made a really indelible mark on me. So I'm to read a text. Every year, the Seder calls on us to re-experience our ancestors' passage from slavery to freedom as if it were our own. Yet the Seder also calls on us to remember that until all who suffer are free, we are not truly free. The Seder reminds us of our obligation to make our world better for those still enslaved, whether in bondage or by poverty or circumstance. May all who are unjustly deprived of freedom be liberated. As we lift our voices in song, we call out together with those who long to be free. This year, there are still so many who struggle towards liberation. Next year, may we all be free. And here's a short musical offering.
Teire Freunde, gut Jonte feich allemen, seid stark und freilich und gesund und schafferisch und hot an neue von Yiddish Wort. In dem Land von Pyramiden gewinn a König beis und schlecht, seinen dort gewinn die Jiden, seine Diener, seine Knecht, seinen dort gewinn die Jiden, seine Diener, seine Knecht. Schwer und sie geplagt der König, leid no das Volk gemusst, weil es hat verstanden wenig, wenig Mut vermogt in Brust, weil es hat verstanden wenig, wenig Mut vermogt in Brust. Kneten Lehm und schleppen Ziegen, bauen Schlösser hoch und reich, bis dem Käfer von sein Wiegel war der Knecht zu Hunde gleich, bis der Käfer von sein Wiegel gewähnt der Knecht zu Klohim gleich. Kinder hat man dort vermeuert, wenn a Ziegel hat gefällt. Ach, wie lang es wollt gedauert, diese wüste Sklavenwelt. Wer weiß, wie lang es wollt gedauert, oh, die wüste Sklavenwelt. Wenn in Land von Pyramiden wollt nicht sein a größer Held, welcher hat gekämpft Frieden mit sein Chochme und sein Schwert, welcher hat gekämpft Frieden mit sein Chochme und sein Schwert.
Adank soy. It's now my privilege to introduce two of the next generation of activists here at the Workers' Circle, and there's one of them, Francesca Rubison and Yasha Geiner. Francesca is the senior social justice organizer and the coordinator of our college network. Yasha is the Yiddish Cultural Activism Fellow at the Workers' Circle and also works as lead editor of Chutzpah, a brand new digital journal written by young people connected to the Workers' Circle and its college network.
Thank you for that intro. It's such a pleasure to be here celebrating the Third Seder with you all. I feel so lucky that I get to call the Workers' Circle my Jewish and political home. And yeah, without further ado, I'll read this for you. Wir haben übergelebt unsere Knechtschaft und wir gedenken die Völker, was rangeln noch in unserer Zeit. Heintiges Jahr Knecht, das kommende Jahr freie Menschen. Seid wissen, es ist Pesach, der Tag von Befreiung, der Jonte von Fried, von Glück und Beneigung.
Thank you, Yasha. It's an honor, to, as Yasha said, to be here with all of you at the Worker Circle Third Seder with such a long history and a vibrant future ahead of it. I'm going to share this dedication. At this Seder, we dedicate ourselves to liberation from the tyranny of inequality, the tyranny of greed, the tyranny of ignorance, the tyranny of war, the tyranny of hate, the tyranny of white supremacy, and the tyranny of fascism. Thank you.
Wir besorgen die Agode und wünschen sich heint, euch Potte zu werden von itztige Feind. Schönen Dank.
It's my honor now to introduce Noelle D'Amico, Worker Circle Director of Social Justice, who will introduce our keynote speaker.
It is my immense honor to introduce Lillian Kashensky-Baxter, a scholar, an activist, an expert in nonviolence and its practice. She exemplifies what lifelong activism in pursuit of a better and more beautiful world for all looks like. A child of Holocaust survivors, Lily Baxter has been at the forefront of social change since her first anti-fascism march in Paris at the age of 3. She grew up in New York and is a graduate of the Workers' Circle middle and high schools. Lily's activism is rooted in the New Left, civil rights, anti-war, student, and women's movements. Already you can see that Lily has long been a bridge builder, a connector of people and movements, and someone who understands what it means to create the truly multiracial, multicultural democracy that our nation and our world so desperately needs. Lily began teaching women's studies in 1970 at the University of Pittsburgh, and she taught nonviolence in 1979 in Atlanta when she was hired by Mrs. Coretta Scott King to serve as Director of Nonviolence Research and Studies at the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change. She returned to the center in 2018 as a senior nonviolence trainer and expert in residence. Between her 2 stints at the King Center, Lily served for over a decade as director of the Weiberg Center for Holocaust Education, also in Atlanta. Lily Baxter holds a PhD from Emory University in Women's Studies and Human Development and has served on national and international boards of the Fellowship of Reconciliation, known as FOR, the world's oldest pacifist interfaith social justice organization. She has taught nonviolence around the world, including Russia, Japan, and Germany, and Yiddish when she gets the chance. Just last month, Lily served as a scholar in residence as the Workers' Circle returned to Selma with more than 50 people to mark the 60th anniversary of the Selma Bridge crossing. Her deft weaving together of Workers' Circle history and her own history, the way she speaks from the heart and invites us to wade ever more deeply into what it means to practice, to really practice the values we hold, to dare to reach to one another in hope, and to draw upon the wellspring of stories from the past to face the uncertainties of this moment with clarity and courage that continues to resonate and inspire. Without further ado, join me in welcoming Lily Kashensky-Baxter.
Dear Freund, my dear friends, I'd like to talk to you today about 2 Pesach heroines who are rarely celebrated but should be. Their impact is as important to our Passover story as Moses and Aaron and Miriam and Yocheved. Our two heroines are examples of moral courage we need for our times. Can you guess who they are? They're Shifra and Pua, two midwives mentioned at the very beginning of the book of Exodus who assisted Jewish women giving birth when the Jews were enslaved in the land of Egypt. Exodus recounts how the Pharaoh, fearing that the growing Jewish population might revolt, commanded the two midwives to kill every single boy born to the Hebrew women. But Shifra and Pua refused, despite knowing that in his authoritarian regime, the king's word was law. Instead, when brought before Pharaoh, the clever women convinced him that the babies were born too fast for the midwives to reach them. And it worked. By defying Pharaoh, Shifra and Pua saved not only the lives of all those little Jewish boys, but generations upon generations of Jewish lives. For to save one life is to save the world entire. Imagine how many worlds they saved. According to peace and nonviolence scholars, the story of Shifra and Pua is the earliest example in the Bible of nonviolent resistance. Many consider it the first known incident of civil disobedience in recorded history, and characterize the midwives' refusal to cooperate with the Pharaoh's command as an example of the tactic of non-cooperation. As Dr. King taught, non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as cooperation with good. Non-cooperation is one of the most effective methods for resisting an authoritarian regime. It is the deliberate withholding of expected behaviors. It has been used during creative and effective non-cooperation campaigns like the Boston Tea Party, the Montgomery bus boycott, the Velvet Revolution of Central Europe, and in this century, the Librarian Women's Movement for Peace, and hundreds of other nonviolent movements. The story of Shifra and Pua is a story for today. We're living in unprecedented times. The Supreme Court has granted presidents sweeping immunity from prosecution. We're in the midst of a war on information. Our long-held democratic freedoms of speech and press are being subjugated and attacked. Government programs and institutions are being dismantled with repercussions felt worldwide. Career public servants with exemplary reviews are being purged from their jobs. People are being stopped in the street, arrested, and sent to prison without due process, a cornerstone of the rule of law in a democracy. And universities, places rooted in free inquiry and free expression, have been condemned and fined. Their research grants were withdrawn. And as you know, so much more. These are times when it might be tempting to just give in and go along. Our fears for ourselves, for those we love, taking over our thoughts and actions. But like our midwives, we must not surrender to authoritarian rule and become complicit with unlawful and immoral demands made of us. We all know that when we grovel before a bully, it encourages the bully. So appeasement is not the way, since no appeasement is sufficient with autocrats. Resistance is the way. For this, we might find useful the tools of nonviolent action taught by Gandhi, King, Heschel, Jean Sharp, Erica Shenderwaith, and countless others of all nations and dispositions. Combined with a growing variety of ongoing protest activities and unrelenting legal action, non-cooperation can turn things around. We must not be silenced, and we must not despair. Like Shifra and Pua, we must expect of ourselves a higher level of moral courage. And maybe out of this difficult time, we can yet create a schönere und bessere Welt für alle, a beautiful and better world for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those such inspiring words, Lillian. We're so grateful to have you with us here today. While we may be tuning in today from many different places in the country, around the world, we're excited to bring everyone together through readings of poems that have traditionally been included in the Workers' Circle Third Seder.
Sis taka a kovid. It's truly an honor to have Kolya Borodulin, my mentor and the director of Yiddish programming at the Workers' Circle, lead us in Sint on die Licht.
A hartstikken dank, Dwoirele. Good Yom Tov, alle men. Sint on die Licht von Eck bis Eck, bekranzt dem Tisch mit frischen Blumen, 3 schönste Reusen, hell und fein. Kleib euch, mein Kind, und steck rein in Morer, Karpes und Charoises, und mit dem reinsten, besten Wein gieß on bis voll die Käuses. Weiter. Mit Fried und Liebe, ohne Moos, mit heißen Gläuben, tiefer Freiheit, heb auf, mein Kind, dem ersten Kuss, für unser alter, süßer Freiheit.
Now, if you have a glass of wine or grape juice or a schnapps, we'd love to invite you to lift your glasses wherever you are and with us read together.
This full cup is witness to the story of the Exodus. It will be raised in honor of liberation, and it will be spilled in recognition of the costs of winning freedom. This cup begins with joy and ends with compassion.
Lo wir heben dem Becher mit Wein, für Zeichen, als wir wollen noch ausgelöst sein. In der dosiger Nacht singt uns Freiheit in Blut.
Singt von Gleichheit, von Völkern, von Gläuben und Mut.
Lo wir heben dem Becher, raise up your cup of wine.
For a symbol, a zeichen, freedom sign. On this Pesach night, sing of freedom and pride, sing of peace among nations. In the light of courage we rise.
Lo wir heben dem Becher, raise up your cup of wine. Für a Welt von Gerechtigkeit, Liebe und Schein, lo wir heben dem Becher, bitten gebenchten Wein.
And now, as our cups have been raised and our hopes named, we're honored to have Cindy Paley leading us in Teire Malke.
A freilichen und süßen Pesach alle men lechaim. Da wir singen. Teire Malke, gesund sollst du sein. Wo seien die Wörter? Noch einmal, where's the words? Here we are. Teire Malke, gesund sollst du sein. Gieß on dem Becher mit Wein. bim bam ba bim bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam ba bim bam, bim bam bim bam. Von dem dosigen Becher, glanzt da so schön, hat getrunken mein Seder allein. Bim bam ba bim bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam ba bim bam, bim bam bim bam. Teiere Malke, gesund sollst du sein, verwemmen soll trinken dem dosigen Wein. Bim bam ba bim bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam ba bim bam, bim bam bim bam. Lechaim will trinken und Tag und Neck, vor die, wo seine Gefahren auf ewiger Weg. Bim bam, barara bim bam ba bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam bam bam, bim bam, barara bim bam bam bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam bam bam. Ihr trinkt für meine Sonne, sag sie nicht aus, guckt Tränen, sie spritzen von Becher heraus. Bim bam, barara bim bam bam bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam bam bam, bim bam, barara bim bam bam bam, bim bam bim bam, bim bam bam bam. L'chaim. Schönen Dank.
Thank you so much, Cindy. That was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. And we've got lots of clapping hands and hearts flying up the screen. And now Kolja will be reading Das ist das arme Brot.
Das ist das arme Brot, was unsere Eltern haben gegessen in Land Mitzrayim. Wer es ist hungrig, soll kommen und essen. Wer es nötigt sich, soll halten mit uns Pesach. Heintigs Jahr Knecht, das kommende Jahr freie Menschen. This is my honor, privilege, and vergnügen, really a pleasure to introduce to you the graduate of the Midtown Workers' Circle Arbeiterungsschule, Emily Weinstein.
Shalom Dank Kolja and Zizen Pesach, everyone. Hi, my name is Emily Weinstein, and I am thrilled to be here celebrating 125 years of the Workers' Circle. I started as a student at what was then the Midtown Workmen's Circle Shul on 33rd Street in 1999 when I was just a baby. Although I graduated in 2011, the Workers' Circle had a lasting impact on me and my family. Shul sparked passion in me for music and theater, social activism, and of course, a deep respect and pride for my Jewish heritage. Among all of the fun and memorable events I got to experience as a student at the Workers' Circle Shul, the Passover Seders were always my favorite. As a little kid, I loved to sing, but was notoriously known for being very, very shy. So when I was selected to sing one of the Fir Kashas as a 6-year-old, my family was worried, to say the least. But lo and behold, when it was my turn to sing, I belted out the second verse with supposedly perfect Yiddish pronunciation. So with that, now let's listen to a 2008 video of me and my classmates singing the Fir Kashas.
Over
So many familiar faces. Wow. Thank you, Emily. That was amazing. And I managed not to completely cry all over myself from that. But what an honor to have you with us. Thank you so much. And now we're going to play for you a recording of an amazing sounding version of Avodim Hoyinu. We were slaves in Mitzrayim. And also in this video, you're going to see close-ups of many, many familiar faces in the chorus. We have a beautiful recording now that was made by our extraordinary friend, Yiddish singer, educator, and you probably saw in the last video, she was following the kids off and getting them back to their holding room. And you also probably heard very clearly the beautiful voice of Adrian Cooper, Alea Shalom, singing over all of the beautiful music. Now, Off the Nil, performed by Judy Bro.
Schwimmt das Kastel auf dem Teich, auf dem großen Nil. Schwimmt das Kastel ruhig gleich, schwimmt das Kastel still. Und die Qualjas gehen still, gehen zart und lind, wie sie wurden heben sich, Tonnerlei dem Kind. Schwimmt das Kastel auf dem Teich, auf dem großen Nil. Schwimmt das Kastel ruhig gleich, schwimmt das Kastel still. Oh, die Qualjas sehnen doch nicht wie Paare schlägt, nicht der trinken wollen sie Maschiachen vom Knecht. Schwimmt das Kastel auf dem Teich, auf dem großen Nil. Schwimmt das Kastel ruhig gleich, schwimmt das Kastel still.
Thank you, Yiddish. The Seder is built on stories, on remembering where we've been and carrying those memories forward. And today we're honored to hear from someone who not only carries these stories, but embodies the history and spirit of the Workers' Circle. Bob Kaplan is a fifth-generation Workers' Circle member, former executive director and president of the organization, and we're honored to have him here today and we wish a grus in der Heim to your beautiful wife, Marcia, and Bob is now going to share a few words with us.
Grüßen Dank, Deborah. So, looking at my white hair, you may think I should know when the first Arbiter Ring Seder was created. In truth, I wasn't there at the very beginning, but I do remember standing there among the gallery event more than 60 years ago at the Waldorf Astoria and later at several other New York venues. As you saw in many of the pictures in the beginning of this program, it was a fantastic pageant with songs and music, dances and recitations, celebrating the cultural recognition of our Yiddish and progressive Arbiter Ring values. The Waldorf ballroom floor and balcony was filled with over 1,000 guests and participants. It was the climax of the Workman's Circle calendar. Everybody who was anybody was there, even young activists like me and Marcia. I remember Moish Malotic as a little kid reciting the Vier Kashas. Years later, I remember him doing it in rap. The world has changed with many in-person events replaced by Zoom as we are doing today. But our cultural values have remained steadfast. Today, a revitalized workers' circle celebrates those same values of social and economic justice, cultural Jewishness, Yiddish language and culture, sometimes wrapped up in the word Yiddishkeit. That's what Pesach is truly about: freedom, human dignity, recognizing that every person is important and deserves respect. Today, we celebrate those values and rededicate ourselves to, as we say in the Arbiter Ring, creating a Shener and Besser Welt für alle. On behalf of the Workers' Circle Board, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining with us today and being part of this process to create a better world for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob, for those wonderful words and for sharing your memories of the Workers' Circle with us.
And now, a more recent anthem in our Yiddish world, written by Michael Fox, Soll haben a lichtigen Gan Eden.
I see a rainbow, a regenbogen. It's filled with all the colors anybody knows. A regenbogen, it stands for Shalom, with colors yellow, green, and blue and red.
was that? So it would not be a Third Seder without paying homage to the incredible dance and pageantry that has always been a huge part of the Third Seder. And I'm really happy to say that Stephen Weintraub is with us today, my friend, Yiddish dance master, and himself always an enormous part of the choreography and the dancing. And before Stephen speaks, we're going to look at a little clip of a different melody for Gut Yantef Eich. And we all have been calling this Steve Weintraub and the Newspapers. Amazing. And we have the two beautiful pictures, and I'm going to pass it on over to Steve Weintraub.
Okay. Basically, Felix Fivich, who was an important Yiddish Jewish modern dancer in Poland, was the original choreographer of the Third Seders. And Sharona, who's there in the front, my dance partner for many years, took over for him when he retired from doing the Third Seders, because he was an old man by the time I met him, but he had very distinctive gestures. Like during the Agadantif, this became sort of a joke. He would do his big Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. He would kind of sweep up and reach out his arm. Can you see that? No. Here we go. And that was a very typical, and that became sort of a joke. Felix Fivich. Yeah, exactly. And basically, it was an exaggerated handshake. There I am as a bull in one of Felix's costumes, and there's the water on the other side. So we got the habit of doing pageantry and got to try out a lot of ideas. So as a choreographer, this was great because I got to try out things like newspapers. I've used newspaper as a kind of personal curtain. You could hide behind, you could move it aside. It was a way of creating interest. We created confetti out of it. So I've used this in other dances and like, okay, let's do this here. And I think we managed to use some forwards. So the writing was in Yiddish. Let's see. So I got to stage Avadim Hayinu as workers in coveralls, going to work rather than slaves. We were wage slaves, and that seemed very arbitrary.
Amazing. So Steve, we
Yeah.
have some video of this, and we have some photos, also the table, the human table.
Oh, Sharona's table was famous.
And we are going to be sure, we can't show everything to you now, but we are going to be sure to put these things up on our website and really revisit all of these amazing moments of pageantry and dance in the Third Seders. Thank you so much, Steve. And we will be together soon to be able to dance together and share all these wonderful things you've learned and taught us over the years. Ashenim
Yeah.
herzlichen Dank.
Schönen Dank.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's impossible to commemorate 125 years of the Workers' Circle without remembering Yossel and Chana Molotek's extraordinary contributions both to the Workers' Circle and to the continuity and growth of Yiddish culture at large. Now we'll be playing a video from the 1993 Workers' Circle Third Seder honoring Yossel Molotek, followed by words from one of his two sons, Moish Molotek, former Workers' Circle president.
Ich bin sehr gerührt von der Zeremonie. Aber ich muss es sagen, als euch ist es geändert, als ich habe etwas das zugezogen zum Arbeiterie und zum jüdischen Leben in Amerika, hat der Arbeiterin viel mehr zugezogen gegeben mir und meinem Leben. Dank Arbeiterin und euch Dank dem Vorwärts. Habe ich noch gekommen nachher mit 46 Jahren zurück. Nach dem Auswandern nach Heimloser, eine halbe Welt. Wieder bekommen eine Möglichkeit. Weiter Mannschaft zu sein. Das alles, mit was ich bin gelernt verbunden, sind meine Kinder ja in Polen. Und was der schreckliche Boden hat er so deutlich übergerissen und verschnitten. Chane und ich haben dank der Hilfe der Arbeiterinnen-Schulen, Mittelschulen und Lehrerseminar gekannt erziehen, zwei Sinn, was gehen in unsere Leben und für welchen wir sind also stolz.
Good Yom Tov. The Arbeitering Third Seder was a tradition in my home. Each year, my brother and I would rehearse and memorize our parts and take part in this festive Yom Tov arranged by the Workers' Circle in the Waldorf Astoria, along with over 1,000 of our friends and neighbors. While my brother would get the good parts like Zigging Zagmaran, I was mostly relegated to being the Tam. Was meint es als Matzes, More, Wein und Schmalz? Me redt von Mitzrayim, von spaltendem Jam. Was meint es als? Ich bin nur a Tam. But the highlight of every Seder was right after the festive meal. My father would come onto stage and deliver a greeting to the audience. My father was a fragile man, but when he spoke, his voice boomed and bellowed, and everyone listened in rapture, afraid to miss one word. His message was of hope, of celebration, of connecting the ancient traditions of the Haggadah to the modern-day problems. Whether there were issues surrounding Soviet Jewry, or Israel not being able to live in peace, or rising swells of anti-Semitism, my father made sure we all remembered that none of us are free until we are all free. And if any one of us threatened, we are all threatened. Never would my father's messages be more important than today. Israel still cannot live in peace. Anti-Semitism is a growing and important threat. Unions are less relevant. Taxes are rising for the low and middle class and shrinking for the rich. People's retirements are threatened and democracy is in crisis. What do we tell our children? What do we advise and counsel them? Like my father would say, in every generation in Yedin Dor, a tyrant more wicked than Pharaoh would rise to try to annihilate us, and each time they failed. Jewish history will not be cut short. Each time we will stand up and shout out like the famous partisan hymn, Wir seien da, we are here. We must continue to fight for democracy, for social justice, and for continuation of our beautiful Eastern European heritage. Support the Arbeiterink, the Folwitz, the Volksbühne. Go to yiddishmusic.org and listen to the Yossel and Chana Molotek Yiddish Song Collection, all digitalized and available free of charge. Have a Zisen Pesach, and on with the show.
Thank you so much, Moish. Now, leading us in Zogmaran, we welcome son of Yossel Molotek and the artistic director of the National Yiddish Theater Volksbühne, Zalman Molotek, and his son, author and co-founder of Faith, Bass, Rabbi Avram Milotek.
Okay. Shalom Aleichem. I'm Avram Latek.
I'm Zalman Latek.
And it's a great kavod for us to sing this beloved song of the Pesach Haggadah with you, a song from the Third Seder, which has a long history in our family. An event and program which my Zeta led for many years, which you participated in as a kid, and I got to participate as a kid, and from dot to dot, from generation to generation, this is a song that also has survived many a generation and hardship. Sag maran, du Bruder meine, wo ist grei der Seder deine?
In tiefer in a Cheder, dort hab ich gegreit mein Seder.
In tiefer in a Cheder, dort hab ich gegreit mein Seder. Sag maran, mir wo bei wemmen, wirst du weiße Matzes nehmen.
In der Hell auf Gottes Barot, dort mein Weib dem Tag geknoten.
In der Hell auf Gottes Barot, dort mein Weib dem Tag geknoten. Sag maran, wie wär's ich kriegen, Akkorde wo zu kriegen.
In der Hell, in tiefe Spalten, hab ich sie schon lang behalten.
In der Hell, in tiefe Spalten, hab ich sie schon lang behalten. Du sag mal an, wie wär's ich werden, wenn wird ein Kohl der Herr. Wenn der Säule wird mich fangen, will ich starren nicht besangen. Wenn der Säule wird mich fangen, will ich starren nicht besangen.
Shmuel Bugach.
We're very fortunate to have found a 1993 clip of Michal Baron. And I have to tell you, I don't have words enough or time enough to share what educator and Yiddishist Michal Baron meant and will always mean to thousands and thousands and thousands of people of all ages, and in particular his beloved students. And I want to say, from my husband, Jeff Warschauer, and from me, he's someone who meant so much to us, and we learned so much from him, and we think of him with love and honor.
In der Nacht erwonnen wir mit Großkopf und Liebschaft 6 Millionen von unseren Brüdern und Schwestern oder seinen umgebracht geworden von einer Rosche viel mehr ärger und größer und brutaler haben. Doch hat verschlafen unsere Ureltern im langen Zeit. Und mit Amonen, wie der Restler von unserem Volk, seine mit 50 Jahren zurück aufgestanden in der Warschauer Ghetto in der Nacht Pesach, dem 19. Tag vom Fröhlich April im Jahr 1943. Mit Gewehr in Hand haben sie natürlich viel von ihrer Strömung, einer sie dann allein umgekommen, auch Kiddisch Arm, ja auch Kiddisch Hashem, hadden covered from their home.
On April 19th, 1943, in the Warsaw Ghetto, instead of recalling the liberation from Egypt at Seder tables, Jews rose up against an implacable enemy. Reading Benjamin Heller's fierce poetic eulogy in Warsaw Ghetto is Mina Byrne, one of the late great stars of the Yiddish stage. Following the poem, we'll hear Zognit Keinmol, sung at the same Seder. Zognit Keinmol was written by Hirsch Glick, a poet and partisan who lived in the Vilna Ghetto. From the Vilna partisans, the song spread through labor camps, concentration camps, and other partisan groups throughout Europe, becoming an anthem of Jewish resistance wherever Yiddish was spoken.
Today, the Partisaner hymn is sung at many Seders and at Holocaust memorials around the world, and has been part of the Arbeiterring tradition for generations. Like the Haggadah itself, we pass along the story and struggles of our parents and grandparents, so we will never forget their sacrifice. Wir seinen da, we are here.
In Warsaw Ghetto, wie sitzt heute beschlossen. Auf Kreuzes von Borsch, und auf Matzes von Klein, erzählt man aufs Nahe, die amorige Lisse, bis jüdische Volk ist Reus und ist rein. Wie alt ist die Meise, wie alt ist der Leben. Nur jetzt, auf der Hand wie ein Fenster, der Seder geht auf. Und zermischt wird der Emes und Liegen, als schwer diese beide voneinander zu schieben. Kol dich hin, ein Fenster verstellt und hier. Kol dich hin, das Leben von ungehörte Kinder. Kol dich hin, alleine Pesach marschieren. Kol dich hin, uns Leben, die Kreis, wo es geht. In Warschauer Ghetto ist jetzt heute Schluss. Mein Mama tut und wir wohnen im Schmelzen. Die Lippen, was alle von Hunger verwissen, für Jode, sie werden als milde und weich. Die Augen bei ihr haben wieder aufströmen, also wie am Mond in vergangene Zeiten. Und erscheinen sie euch, die Roschengemeinde, von jene vergessene Weihbisse. Noch Lutzim wacht heute sie gräuliche Stunde. Mit stolzender Stärze die Hände ihrer Gruppe, anstatt uns zu beugen dem Kiddisch, dem Seder mit Kiddisch, die singen, heute Morgen, Spräuch am Moskau zu tun. In Warschauer Ghetto ist jetzt heute Schluss. Und vor steht der Kostel Johannes, noch wer vor dem Seder ist übergerissen? Gekommen ist Trinken der Malachamos. Beständig die deutsche Sprache bestieren, beständig die Sprache von Befehle geniete, beständig sie sind gekommen ins Führen, ein Teil von dem jüdischen Volk zu der Stimme, nur nein! Es wird die Ghetto nicht schneller als die von Nazis, was führen auf jeden Gehetzte. Mit Blut wird man wieder verschmieren die Stiefel, mit Blut von der Freie, mit Blut von der Letzten. Und Warschauer Ghetto ist jetzt heute Schluss. Von Schocken zu Schocken wird übergegeben. Das deutsche Blut soll nicht euch verwissen, Kostmann, ein Gied wird in der Ghetto bleiben. Versei sollen Leuten jetzt ein nach Noe, versei sollen Leuten jetzt ein Merken treffen, noch sie und scheuen und will zu der Hanoi von Geise Jagdgegend und Kolossefe. Und Herr, wie es helfen, mir ist das auf den Schoß. Und Herr, wie das Säune geht, und blutige Spuren. Und Herr, die Geschichte der Feind aufgeschlossen, von Heiligen und Kuren in Leben schief.
And now please stand for the Partisaner Hymn.
Incredible videos, incredible. Because our world is not yet free of violence, the Haggadah reminds us of Elijah, the biblical prophet of peace. According to tradition, Elijah promises messianic redemption, and we are told to wait for it. Though we can cherish this promise of a perfectible world, we at the Workers' Circle believe we must also, in our time, stay engaged in effort to make it real.
I am so pleased that we're here together and that I get to introduce Dylan Saders Hoffman, who is such an unbelievably beautiful singer and actor and friend, and really what Worker Circle von Dort zu Dort Yiddishism is all about. And we couldn't be more pleased that we're here together and that she's part of what we're doing and that she's going to sing this incredible song for you, Das Neue Lied.
Thank you, Deborah.
So wie weit sein die Zeit von Liebe und von Scholem, doch kommen wird, sie friert, sie spät, die Zeit, es ist kein Holem, doch kommen wird, sie friert, sie spät, die Zeit, es ist kein Holem. Ich hör das Lied von Liebe, Fried, die mächtige Gesangen und jeder Ton von Lied zu Ton. Die Sonne ist aufgegangen und jeder Ton von Lied zu Ton. Die Sonne ist aufgegangen. Es eckt die Nacht, die Welt erwacht, voll Hoffnung, Lust und Streben. Du hörst in Luft, eine Stimme ruft zu Glück und Freude und Leben. Du hörst in Luft, eine Stimme ruft zu Glück und Freude und Leben.
Schönen Dank. And now it's an honor to introduce a wonderful Yiddish singer from Argentina, Yasmin Garfunkel, who will be singing Hoff und Gleb.
Hof, nicht weit ist später Frühling, es werden Schmetterlingen springen, neue Nesten, neue Vögel, werden neue Lieder singen, neue Nesten, neue Vögel, werden neue Lieder singen. Gleich die Nacht ist schön verwoben und die Wolken seufzen ohne. Neu wird sein an seiner Himmel, neue Sterne, neue Sonnen, neue Rosen, neue Blumen werden blühen, wachsen hoch. Es wird scheinen, schmecken, singen und in unser Wind
Shane. And a little bit like the Afikomen, if you were paying attention, you'll notice that we actually got the composer of that song wrong, and it's words from Yud Lamed Peretz. So moving on, we are so excited and thrilled that we are welcoming Sarah Gordon and Ilya Schneeves to perform Mu Asapru. Sarah and Ilya are two superstars of our international Yiddish world.
Well,
Well, is I'm gonna take one.
take one. Oh, who knows one?
You know one.
I do know one. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, Welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Expectheit. Einer ist Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, Welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Zweibarkeit. Oh, zwei sind die Lichtet und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Dreibarkeit. Drei sind die Oben, zwei sind die Lichtet und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Vierbarkeit. Weil sind die Imes und drei sind die Oves, zwei sind die Liches und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Fünfbarkeit. Oh, fünf sind die Chmoshim und vier sind die Imes, drei sind die Oves und zwei sind die Liches und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Sechsbarkeit. Sechs sind die Mishnayes und fünf sind die Chamoshim, vier sind die Imes und drei sind die Oves und zwei sind die Liches und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Sinnbarkeit. Sieben sind die Wochentag, sechs sind die Schneies, fünf sind die Chamoshim und vier sind die Imes, drei sind die Oves, zwei sind die Liches und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner. What's up, Rumu and up, Ru, Yam, welken Sorgen, welken Rennen, was die Achbarkeit. Acht ist Bris Mile, sieben sind die Wochentag, sechs sind die Mishnayes, fünf sind die Chamoshim, vier sind die Imes, drei sind die Oves, zwei sind die Liches und einer ist doch Gott und Gott ist einer und weiter keiner.
That was amazing. We're having a good time over here.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you're all having a good time too, even though we're not all in the same place. I feel like we are. And speaking of being in the same place, I'm in the same place here with my beloved musical partner and life partner, Cantor Jeff Warschauer.
And I'm here in the same place just to say how happy I am to be here. I have been blessed with a long association with the Workers' Circle, but also blessed with a 20-year association with the fantastic Columbia Klezmer Band. I've been the faculty coach for 20 years there,
And I have good news, which is through the efforts of the Worker Circle College Network, and in particular in terms of Columbia, Dylan right here, we have a connection between Worker Circle and Columbia, and many of the klezmer band members took place in Dylan's recent Zingerei. I can't tell you how proud I am to introduce the Columbia Klezmer Band performing Chad Godyo.
1, 2, 3, 4. Der Tate hat ein Ziegel gekäufert, zwei Gildein. Ein Ziegel, ein Weißenke, ein Schönenke wie Gold. Und zwei Gildein ist Summen, hat für ihr bezahlt. Chagadio, ist doch in Häufen Katz gewesen, am Masik wie bewusst. Hat Kätzchen sich verzückt, das Ziegel verblust. Der Sohn hat es hinterlegt, vergrüßt es ihm ganz stark. Warft sich auf der Beserkatz und beißt ihr einen karg. Und Steckele in Kasse rein und traf gar mit kein Sach. Und spalt das Käppel hinterlegt, du Hund, sie ist nicht kein Sach. Zerflockend hat sie Feuer über Krass zu gereut. Du Steckele, du Fleckele, macht ihr bald ertreut.
Soll sein Yiddish. Yiddish leapt. That was incredible, and I want to give a special shout out to Sarah Tabak, who is actually also a Midtown Shula graduate, and her father Eitan, and father and mother who are really involved in Worker Circle, and we're so proud of all of you. And this couldn't have been a better segue into talking about von generation to generation, von dor zu dor, Dayenu. Actually not enough, but Dayenu, performed by Pinya and Alex Minkin.
Die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no. Wollten wir nur von Mitzrayim glücklich aus Giles geloren, nur der Jam sich nicht gespalten, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no. Wollt der Jam sich schon gespalten, nur im Durchgehen in der Trocken, wollt uns dämmelt nicht gegolten, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no.
Süßen Pesach.
Oh my goodness, so wonderful. Thank you both. That was amazing. And thank you all so much for being here with us today. This has made my heart feel so warm to be spending this afternoon with you. As we now begin to close our program slowly, we'd love to take a moment to highlight some of the wonderful programming and initiatives that the Worker Circle is leading.
And you can certainly go onto the website and read all about the wonderful things that are going on. Yiddish classes, democracy circles. We have a new program called Soll sein Yiddish, Let There Be Yiddish, with special programming focused on adults 60 and beyond. So the whole range of activism and Yiddishism, and we come together in all of our diversity with love and strength and holding all of each other up. So you can text Circle 125 to 53555 if you want to give. Any donation will help us continue our incredible work in these very, very difficult times. A schönem herzlichen Dank.
And don't leave just yet. We have two more songs for you, never to fear. So the next song that we'll be listening to, the second to last song today, will be the Arbeiterring Hymn. This song is 100 years old and was written to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Workers' Circle. So like Deborah said, if you enjoyed this program, if you enjoyed the Worker Circle in general, please consider donating to help us sustain the Worker Circle for another 125 years and beyond.
Amen. Thank you once again, a schönem herzlichen Dank. And we have an amazing video for you from Worker Circle Seder 2008 with Alla Breeder and Adrian Cooper and Sarah Gordon and dancing. And if you go through the line of dancers, you're going to see so many familiar faces, and just so exciting to hear. And then we will go right into a little bit of singing Alla Breeder, Ai Ai, because how could we end a Seder without it? And then if you stay around, don't go off the Zoom yet, because we have a special bonus track for you that is really worth hanging around for.
It's
Shalom auf der ganzen Welt. And stay on for this special bonus track.
Aziz and Pesach.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover, Aziz and Pesach. One of our favorite songs is Matzah's Dough from Bela Schechter Gottesman, a song about everything that should be on a Seder table. Let's go.